Venice, a city of secrets, shadows, and seduction. But beneath the gondolas and Gothic facades lies the hidden world of a man who became a myth. You know the name Casanova. But what if we told you that the world's most infamous lover was also a spy, a philosopher, a fugitive, and perhaps the first real-life secret agent? Welcome to Future Forward. Before we unlock 18th century Venice, tap subscribe, like this video, and ring the bell so you never miss what history tried to hide. That he seduced more than hearts. He seduced empires. And now, 300 years later, we're retracing his footsteps through locked doors, forgotten tunnels, and secret salons buried in modern-day buildings. Let's begin. Giacomo Casanova was born in 1725, the illegitimate son of actors, dismissed by priests, expelled by noble courts. And yet he rose to dine with kings. More than just a seducer, Casanova was a Renaissance machine. A violinist, a stage actor, a lawyer, a translator, a diplomat, and one of the greatest autobiographers in European history. His memoir, Histoire de ma vie, Story of My Life, is more than a diary. It's a window into Enlightenment Europe and its obsessions with love, science, and secrecy. But what secrets are still hidden in Venice today? In a 400-year-old pharmacy, Lia Celi uncovers Casanova's obsession with alchemy. Not just the mystical transformation of metal into gold, but the transformation of desire into power. Then there's Caffè Florian, where Casanova held private meetings with diplomats, writers, and lovers in masks. It still serves coffee, but once it served conspiracies. Imagine Tinder meets the Illuminati, with espresso on the side, and tucked behind the facade of a bland insurance office. A forgotten pleasure house, where Casanova and Venice's elite once indulged in scandal, theater, and coded whispers. But this story is more than just seduction. It's about survival. Casanova was arrested, exiled, betrayed, and yet he never stopped reinventing himself. That he used charm like a weapon, words like armor. And behind every conquest was a man hungry not for lust, but for liberation. That he once escaped from a high-security prison using smuggled ink, intuition, and sheer wit. He lived in 22 cities across Europe under more than 15 aliases. Casanova wasn't addicted to romance. He was addicted to freedom. In a time when birth decided your destiny, he rewrote his own. Again and again. That he reminds us that identity is fluid, legacy is earned, and even scandal can be a form of art. That he lived in disguise, but wrote himself into immortality. Today, Casanova's Venice survives in shadows, behind cafe walls, within secret staircases, and inside journals that shaped our ideas of love, passion, and rebellion. Subscribe to Future Forward for more stories that history tried to bury. Watch our next episode. Comment below: was Casanova a con man or a genius ahead of his time? Because the past is not gone, it's just hidden.
His lovers, the women he had, numbered around 150. Beyond the most famous cliché of Casanova the Great Lover, though, he was also a man of 1,000 trades. He was a musician, an actor. He was one step away from becoming a priest and a soldier. He was a diplomat, a writer, a secret agent, an alchemist, and a perfumer. Only one love stayed with him throughout his life: the love for his city, Venice. Casanova embodies the existential adventure of the 18th century. A casino technically means a small house. It was a secluded place where people gathered to play cards, have discussions far from prying eyes, and also to have spicy adventures. Music came out from those grates. Behind them was a small room that hosted the musicians. There were tiles like this one. Lifting it, one could see who was downstairs through a special opening. Casanova gambled, and he was a notorious cheat. And he would go to casinos, which were 118, just in the center of Venice. In the 18th century, the rejection of superstition and Puritanism led to a never-seen-before sexual freedom for both men and women. We are at the Ercole pharmacy, the oldest in Venice, dating back to the 17th century. Casanova was often hired by nobles to perform alchemical procedures. The Marquis d'Urfé in France had practically adopted him for his alchemical skills. This pharmacy in Canareggio has another peculiarity. It is part of an alchemical triangle, a complex of buildings where alchemical symbols abound: the golden apple, the pine cone. The perfumes we smell here are reconstructed based on ancient 16th century recipes with spices that came from the Far East. Like all great seducers, Casanova had a feminine side. For example, he went to a ball with his beloved Henriette, where he was dressed as a lady and she as a knight. The Piombi took their name from the lead covering of the roof, which made the cells particularly uncomfortable, freezing in winter, boiling in summer. It was one of the most secure prisons in Europe. The tortured person was tied by the wrists, pulled upwards and then dropped down violently, so that his joints would dislocate. Casanova was imprisoned for crimes related to religion. He was considered blasphemous, a swearer, an alchemist, and a holder of forbidden books. With a daring escape, he managed to flee in 1656. This is the second cell that Casanova occupied in the Piombi, and it is the one from which he escaped by making a hole in the ceiling. He reached the roof, and from the roof he lowered himself down into the Doge's palace. There he was surprised by a guard, whom he managed to deceive by pretending to be a visitor, who had overstayed after closing time. Immediately after escaping from the Piombi and just before fleeing to France to escape Venetian justice, he stopped one last time at the Florian to enjoy his favorite chocolate. The Florian is the oldest cafe in the world. Born as a cafe and still a cafe today, was founded in 1720. It's like entering a monument because Caffè Florian is the history of Venice and partially also the history of Italy. The legend says that Casanova's ghost was captured by the mirrors of the Caffè Florian. At night, Casanova comes out to seek female company. In a cafe, mirrors have strategic functions. You can see without being seen and spy on people discreetly. Here, the spies of the Venetian Republic were in action. Casanova was the first to use the term secret agent. The lions were mailboxes, reserved for denunciations. At the end of his life, Casanova became a librarian. We are in a very special printing house. It was the workshop of a great master of Venetian painting, Tintoretto. The machines are from the 16th and 18th centuries. Casanova's passion for books is one of the lesser-known traits of his life. He wanted to be remembered as a writer. He traveled with trunks of books, those he had purchased and those he wrote. The pamphlet on his escape from the Piombi prisons was a bestseller, and then his memoir would become a bestseller. But he is not remembered as a great intellectual. This was the only thorn in his heart.